tees. So now Cassie Leuthold, the 10th frame. The mark and a high count here will close it out. High school player of the year before arriving in Nebraska, and now a two-time All-American for the Huskers, trying to continue their strong bowling tradition. They have not been back to the finals since they won that 04 and 05 back-to-back titles.
On her last shot, she left the 1-2. She missed the head pin to the right. It's going to be interesting to see if she makes the adjustment. Definitely threw the ball a little bit more direct. Ball snapped on the back end, leaving the 3-10. Now her other teammate left the 3-10 and used her strike ball to shoot the spare. Moved a little bit left on the approach and made the shot off of her strike target. She's talking it over with Bill to see how she's going to shoot the spare.
One more bowler to go for Central Missouri. Teresa Christopher, obviously very interested in how Leuthold can finish up here. We call it the baby split, the 3-10.
And if she gets one, we have the potential of a tie. She made it. Great shot. That was a great shot in a clutch situation. Still needs to get good count to shut out the University of Central Missouri.
Nine would do it. And again, more discussion with Bill Straub.
Well, here's the situation. She went a lot more direct on that first shot, but the ball snapped just a little bit through the nose. There's a few opportunities here. Do you move just a little bit left and keep the ball in the same zone? Do you maybe move right and throw a little bit harder? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities out there.
That's why so much falls on the decisions that anchor makes. Right on it. Clears the deck to give Nebraska the opening game of the match. Now 200 for Nebraska as they continue to have the hot hand. That is 4 consecutive 200 games, going back to their match earlier tonight when they eliminated Delaware State in the if necessary game in the double elimination format. Christopher well low of the target.
Leaving the 1-2-4. This is the same leave she left in the 5th frame. So this is the opportunity. The game is out. Okay, they can't win. So here's something where you should probably try to get lined up for the next game. Whether you make the spare or not, it's probably a good opportunity to either change balls, change your line, to get lined up into the pocket and get ready for next game.
Christopher goes to a different ball here on the spare shot. Spins that one in. One last ball here to close out game number 1, and Nebraska now 3 games away from the title. Jenny's in their if necessary game earlier tonight against Fairleigh Dickinson. They were down 3-2 and rallied to win the last 2 games to take the match. And they will fall behind again here for the national championship. Much better that time for Christopher to close it out with the strike. 200 to 185. Nebraska takes the opener here at the 2009 NCAA Women's Bowling National Championship match from the Canton Super Bowl. And let's flash back to what, a few days ago. Here you are in action.
Yeah, look at that beautiful shot.
Wow. But there's always room for improvement. How about, what is it, 20 strikes in a row you bounce back from the gutter ball? Come on!
Yes, I did. I was fortunate to be there, and it just so happened to work out. So I hope everybody watches tomorrow.
20 consecutive strikes. That matches my career total, by the way, and you did it in about 45 minutes.
I'm going to get you a New Brunswick ball and Dexter shoes, and I'm going to give you lessons next time we work together.
I'm going to need a spare ball, too. I'm going to have plenty of spare shots. Let's take a look at the Home Depot coaching clinic right now. And the oil pattern, we got some pretty colors for you to show you what the bowlers are up against.
The darker oil, the darker purple on the screen is where the most of the oil is before it carries down the lane. We got a 42-foot pattern, longer pattern, 24 mil layers of oil, very little oil. They're playing the track area, which is around the second arrow, the 10 board. What they will do is the lanes break down. They will migrate to the left between that second and third arrow. And actually, that area should open up really nicely.
On to game number 2 with Nebraska leading this championship match. 1 game to none. They took the opener 200 to 185. And now Alyssa Surgis will lead things off for the Jennies. They have switched lanes, by the way, so if they were paying attention to what the opponent was doing, they'll have a pretty good indicator of how the oil is on the other lane.
Since there's only 24 milliliters of oil in the lane, it's a little bit of a low volume. So there is going to be that hook spot on the lane, and it will wind up being between that second and third arrow. So moving a little bit left and just bumping it up against that second arrow should be a nice look.
For the 3rd time in a row, Surgis a 9 on the first ball and then gets the spare. Good start for the Jennies. And over to Nebraska on the right lane. And Kalina Henning spares on both of her rolls in game number 1. They took the opener, and fatigue in that first match didn't seem to bother the Huskers at all, that they have bowled the most this weekend. They also happen to have 3 of the top 5 scoring games of this NCAA tournament. So when they have been on, they've been awfully good. Flirting with the gutter. Takes down the right side.
Missing way right of the target. Ball never recovering. Just another example of where that oil line is on that outside part. That tells you, you know what? 42 feet. I need to be closer to the head pin. I need to move in a little bit.
Got the 1 and 2, not the 4-7. So Nebraska with an open here in the second.
You know, when you miss the head pin to the right like that, it's not so easy to get up and try to make that spare, because the first thought going through your head is, I just missed the head pin right, so I don't want to do that again. But you're afraid of missing it to the left, so that's a tough spare to make.
Kim Wallace. Left-hander misses the head pin. Now, they substituted for Kim earlier, but they will leave her in here because she still has another frame to roll. And once you make a substitution, the player you take out of the lineup cannot return until the next game. She doesn't need the help. Wallace with the spare. This is the 6th year of the NCAA championships, and Nebraska winning the first 2 Fairleigh Dickinson, Vanderbilt, and then Maryland Eastern Shore last year.
Programs that have had really good coaching, have really come up through the ranks and just have a great quality of talent that they're dealing with.